Hey, I'm Eoin Glackin and you're watching MUZU.tv.
There's a green and gold sky tonight.
The new single is going to be a song called Carlisle Bridge, and it's the last track on the album. It's the kind of the what we tried to purposely make to being the closing song of the album. We wanted it to be a big sort of crescendo-y closer of a song, so that's what it is. And it's like radio suicide because it's really long, but we want to put it out, so we're going to do that. Yeah.
Mary Queen.
The album was called Not Lost, and we did it with a producer called Eoin Glackin, who just met by chance, really. Kind of a friend of my manager kind of suggested we hook up and have a chat, and because he knew I was kind of talking about doing the album at this stage, and we met up and we just got on great. And he had done some stuff that just really I loved when I was younger. Like he worked on Travis records, and he worked on Manic Street Preachers, and he worked on, and then even like kind of stuff at the moment, like that whole communion wave thing, folk thing. He's done a lot of that work, and he's come up with some amazing records. And yeah, I know I was just blown away by his body of work. And then so we went off and made the album in his studio in London, in this big old church, and it was deadly. And I'm really happy with it. Yeah, we did this Bruxelles residency thing a few weeks ago, and we did a month of it. And it was great because Bruxelles has always been it's just kind of the sort of mecca in Dublin for me for live music, because that's just where I learnt a whole lot. And there's a Wednesday night singer-songwriter night on in Bruxelles called the Zodiac Sessions, and it's amazing. So I kind of always just associate Bruxelles with that. So when the suggestion came up to do a residency, they kind of had a few different venues, and I thought, man, if we can get Bruxelles, let's do it. So rang them up, and they were more than happy to let us have the place for a few weeks, and it was brilliant, great crack. Just messy Thursday nights, great. I met Leonard Cohen by, well, I was going to say by sheer fluke, but it wasn't. It was like I went on an absolute mission. He was I just moved to London this a couple of years ago, and there's this composer called Philip Glass had done, who I didn't even realise at the time is this massive, world famous. They even did him in The Simpsons, like he's that famous, but I didn't know at the time. But he did this body of work based on Leonard's book of poetry called The Book Along, and so basically it was on up in the Barbican Theatre in London, and Leonard was going to be special guest. He wasn't performing like that, but he was going to be special guest, so I knew he was going to be there, so I thought, why not give it a chance. Basically I snuck in backstage. Long story short, I created this diversion where I got all the real hardcore 60s Leonard Cohen fans with their ponytails and their original LPs waiting to get signed. We're all waiting at this one door, and I ran out from the venue and said, "Oh look, it's Leonard," and they all sprinted in to the venue, and all security went to distract them, and while they were distracted I snuck around the other side of the stage and went in backstage and just picked up a glass of champagne, and it was real like black tie and gowns and stuff, and I was there in my scruffy coat and my man bag, and I picked up a glass of champagne, and he was just there, and I went over and chatted to him for like 4 or 5 minutes, and it was amazing. He was just so nice. Jamie Lawson ended up singing on one of the songs on the album called Hello Caroline, and it was because it's got this sort of lively chorus thing in it. So we were always joking that because there's a pub next door to the studio called the Haringey Arms, and we go in for a few every now and then, and we were joking we should get, when we're doing the vocal for Hello Caroline, we should get like a load of the old lads from the Haringey Arms in to just sing in the background and do the whole kind of sing-along thing. And we never actually did it, and it was on the last day we were doing it, the very last day in the studio actually, we were doing the vocals, the last bit of vocals for another track, and we went in and into Haringey, and I noticed there was a guy sitting there that I recognised from back in Ireland. He was a singer, and I went over, and I'd met him years ago, and I went over and introduced myself and said, "Oh, I'm Owen," and he kind of pretended like he remembered me anyway. I don't know if he did, but we chatted anyway, and he said, "Oh, I'm actually meeting another mate of mine who's a singer, for a pint." So I sat down and had a pint with, then he arrived in, I had no idea who this guy was, and we had a pint together, and I said, "Lads, this is mad, but you want to come in and sing on this song? It'd be like really perfect if you did it." So the two of them came in. It was this guy Gary Dunn, and it turned out to be Jamie Lawson, and they went in and did these deadly backing vocals, and we had a few cans in the studio, and then we went round to the pub again and just kept going and had these great kind of music conversations. And then when we went to credit the album the first time, because we released it ourselves and then it got re-released again a few months later, so the first time, the first print of the album, I couldn't find out who the other guy was, so he wasn't credited. And then I bumped into the guy Gary, who I knew, and he's like, "Oh, that was Jamie Lawson." And in the meantime, Jamie had gotten really famous with. I wasn't expecting that, so I was kind of able to boast that he was my backing singer for an hour. Yeah, that was it. We got some gigs this side of Christmas. We're in Galway and Limerick and yeah, around the place. And the next single is coming out around Christmas time. But I don't know the date because I'm silly. But that's going to be Carlow Bridge. Again, the Radio Suicide song, Walking Down. And yeah, that's going to be it. And we're just going to put the single out, and then there's more gigs kind of coming in. And in the new year, heading over to the UK for a bit and doing some shows there. And yeah, keeping it.